welcome Squiggy, our fan, to the show and his fan book choice, Fragility by Robin Diangelo. Squiggy, you want to tell us why you picked the book?
Welcome, Squiggy.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the podcast. So this book I came across during the height of the George Floyd BLM protests, and during lockdown here I had a lot of time on my hands, so I figured I wanted to learn more. And from there's many good lists out there of books that have been going around that people should read, and I picked this one. The biggest reason is because it was the shortest on the list, to be honest. But then I really got into it, and there's a lot of interesting points that were being made, and we'll definitely delve into all that. But the next thing was that I put on my social media that I'd be willing to talk to anybody about this book. And that's when Book Interrupted reached out to me, calling my bluff. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here, because I'm like, well, I said I'd talk about this book, and I'm here to be part of the discussion.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
We're happy you're here.
We really appreciate it.
Over the last year, I've engaged in a lot of anti-racism conversations and talks and dialogues, and I have found my role is best at listening. It's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of people exploring things. One of the things that I do not do, because I just don't have the energy or qualified, is that I don't educate. There's a lot of resources out there. So sometimes in social media, someone even posted, when I posted something about John A. MacDonald, and she actually asked me to school her about John A. MacDonald and the bad things he's done. And my response to that is, it's not my job to school people. I also am not here to check up on homework because someone else said, well, I'll read the book and you'll make sure I read it. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna make you do that either. But at the end of the day, any progress or anything you do for anti-racism in your own life, read this book, watch a Black movie, etc., is the step forward, and that's what matters. So for me to walk into this virtual room of white women that are choosing to read this book, choosing to discuss it, it is a safe space, and I'm not here to judge or wave my finger, because there's going to be a lot of topics that are difficult to talk about. Like, there's a whole section called White Women Tears, and in a room of white women, it's going to be really interesting. But since we're all coming from safe space, open dialogue, and knowing that we've all made mistakes in the past, I am a brown skin, so I do not know the Black story. This book is also based in the States, which is slightly different than the Canadian experience, but very similar. But I fall more into the model minority, which is somewhat whitewashed without having the extreme suffering that Blacks or Aboriginals have suffered. So I think I just wanted to open up that we're in a safe space to talk about things, because I know this is going to be nervous for people to engage in.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I appreciate that. And I can't wait for the White Women Tears one, because there are a lot of tears on this show already.
Oh
dear. It's gonna happen.
I felt teary-eyed as Squiggy was giving that fantastic intro just on, responsibility, and I really appreciated it, that you're just not here to position yourself on any type of status battle. That you're just,
you know what else I liked? Sorry to cut you off there, Leah. I mean, Kara.
Whoever you are.
Yeah, one of those sisters. I like that you included in your introduction, like, your intention, because I feel like often there is, I want to call it like a mine, like a landmine that white people can step on, where they assume because a person represents a particular group of people, or, well, because a person is a member of a particular group of people, that they represent all of them, and then you go to them as if they're the expert. So by you saying, like, I'm not here to educate anybody, but I'm here to witness the conversation, basically, you just kind of saved us from that awkward moment if any of us did that by accident, you know?
Yeah, and to tag onto that, a friend of mine who is a news program director, he was talking about having people of color in reports and stuff like that, but he didn't want to make it feel like it was token. But at the end of the day, again, any effort is better than nothing. So I am not an anti-racism expert. The fact that I am here as a token member of a minority, like, it can be labeled that way, but it's also you guys choosing to do that, gals, people,
Whatever.
choosing to do that. The idea of even choosing to do that, because this was rooted more in talking about the concepts of these books as opposed to a straight up fanfic. The fanfic is a convenient title for something that is far more in depth.
The way that you came to this is that you were like, I want to talk about this book. And that's kind of what book clubs are about, is reading books and wanting to talk through the ideas with somebody else. Like, this happens to me all the time where I read a book and I'm like, I need someone else to read this book so I can talk about it and I can process all this information. And I've been very interested in I think the media coverage of the Black Lives Matter protests has really made people think that they want to learn more about anti-racism. So because I'm a little bit I can be a little intense, I'm like currently reading 3 books about it right now. I
So
can't
when
help
she likes a
myself.
topic, she dives right in. Right.
And so I'm actually very excited about this, because I like to think that I'm like a fairly well-informed person, but I know that this is a subject that I'm not as informed about as I would like to, and I've already learned some stuff, so I'm really excited about these conversations. And
it's the tricky thing about this book, I find, Mare, is that, or everyone, is that it's like, even with all reading, you're deep diving in the topic, you can only be as informed as that. Like, you cannot take off your skin suit. So that's what this book, I haven't finished the book yet. I just started it. So I can only see, like, I'm learning, and I'm like, man, I can't get out of my own way on this. Literally my own skin on this. My perspective is like, I'm reading it, I'm like, Jesus, I never thought about it like that. Like, something as simple as she mentioning like Black History Month. I'd never thought about that in terms of, like, of course it should just be History Months.
Always,
like those stupid little things that I'm like, I can't like, it's like blinder after blinder after blinder on this one.
I loved the bit about, I've only read the first 2 chapters as well, but the bit about Jackie Robinson, I thought that just like, I told Laird, I told everybody, because it says in the book, like, I wrote it down, but she says that like, people would say all the time, oh, Jackie Robinson, he was the first Black man to break the color line, as if it was his decision to be able to do that, or he was the best and he wasn't good enough, or there was no Black people to be able to be good enough to be in Major League Baseball until then. But then really we should be thinking about it is that he's the first Black man whites allowed to play Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And like that was like a whatever moment for me. I was like, yeah, like, why are so much of what we, all of our history, all of the words that people use, it's this like whitewashed idea of, I would never have thought, looking at that the idea, right, of course it's the first Black man that was allowed by white people to play baseball. Like,
and it's not because they were just like, oh, maybe we'll let you. Be like, I can profit from you. So you can come in, right?
Yeah. Like, been playing around with the concept of noise for a long while, of noise causing change. So let it be noise because of the skill of an athlete, or noise because Trump is the loudest, or what was mentioned also in the Ford is that the noise that women made to finally get the right to vote, because it was pointed out that men controlled the vote, so therefore it was men that would be allowed to let women vote. And it's just those little spins, like, not Jackie Robinson, first Black player, but white people let Black players play, or men let women vote, which that's a totally different way of saying things. Men let women vote is like, that doesn't sound feminist. That's weird. But it's because women made enough noise. It's because BLM made enough noise. It's because playing sports has made enough noise.
Yeah, it's like drawing attention to it. It kind of comes back to the base point of any move is a good move as long as awareness is somehow awakened. I'm probably going to butcher this, but there was and it's funny because this was so powerful to me, but I listened to a podcast. I think it might have been Brene Brown, and I'm not sure who she was talking to, but they likened the white experience of racism and their involvement in it to like being in a storm and having no idea that they're wet, right? Like the rain is the racism, right? And other people are like, it's raining, like you're soaking wet, like, and they're just like, I don't know, like I feel fine, like. And so that was really meaningful to me because it really kind of captured how like how invisible you can be by being a white person, how invisible it can be to a white person, how you participate without even know, right? You want to say, I'm not racist, but you're soaking wet. Like you are, like but if you don't get your umbrella, you are. And so I think this work is like us all finding an umbrella and kind of opening it.
Right.
One of the things,
What was your,
sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, one of the things.
No, I will not.
One of the things in the book that I kind of like first of all, I've only read the first chapter, was that I like how she said, you're going to think of all the reasons why you're exempt to this, which I did. Like, I was like, well, I'm married to a person of color and I have children that are people of color and I live in a place where I am a minority and then she called me out and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, that she totally got me. Like,
one of them later is like, I can't be racist. I'm Canadian. It's like, who says?
Like, wake up. Yeah.
Book interrupted.
Here's my interruption. I need reading glasses. So Mama Dew was like, asked me to look through his reading glasses because he had like a scratch on it. He's like, just look and see if it's on the glass or whatever. And I did, and I could see so much clearer. So then, yeah, turns out I need reading glasses. So there we go. Like, I read so much of my book last night. Like, it has really small print, and I didn't realize how it was slowing me down, not actually being able to see the words properly. So, yay.
Book interrupted.
I wondered if Squiggy had some like examples, like for you when you read this book, did you find that you had blinders even because you have grown up in a primarily white, not that, like, did you not notice how you were being treated maybe in a racist manner?
Like, did you
even,
accept,
or was it always
that were wrong?
obvious to you?
It was always fairly obvious to me. Like I was always the one randomly selected at the airport for searches and stuff like that, and just people's hesitancy and tendencies. But this one thing that I really enjoyed about this book, and this also touches upon one of the disputes about this book compared to other things, is that we all have stories. And we all have facts and we all have reports that racism exists. This book, really coming from a white person, turning the mirror on the white person. So it's not about stories. It's not about defining that racism exists. It's making it approachable in a way that people are more comfortable talking about it. Again, that's the other thing about I will not educate. I also won't debate. If someone comes in and says racism doesn't exist or I don't see color and stuff like that, that is not where I'm going to spend time. Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, its main thing is that, is swearing okay? Does it get bleeped out?
Yeah.
No,
swear.
Swear away.
Hey.
You'll make us feel more comfortable.
Swear all you want.
One of the overarching theme of that is that you only have so many fucks to give in a day, so choose what you give a fuck about. So just with the door being open, I would rather give a fuck about coming on here and talking to you ladies than engaging in a troll about I don't see color or racism doesn't exist.
That's a good point, that the book starts from a place of like, this is the platform's one up. It's like, does racism exist and where is it? No, it starts from, it exists. Next step.
And you're
that's kind of an interesting, yeah.
Yeah, you're part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're already doing it. She doesn't try and prove it.
No, yeah.
She doesn't need to.
Yeah. You can debate inside your own head as you read the book. She's not going to try to convince you. She's like, let me show you all the ways so that at the end you'll be like, okay, I get it now, right? Yeah.
If you've enjoyed these video highlights, listen to the full episode on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when new episodes are published. Find out more by going to www.bookinterrupted.com.
On Book Interrupted.